Hello everyone! By now you already know what punctuations are and where they are placed in sentences. So, let us have a quick recap of the punctuations we studied in the previous classes. Full stops are placed at the end of a complete sentence or to separate alphabets in case of abbreviations. For example, Harry was going to school. Postscript: do not forget to write back as soon as you receive this letter. Question mark or interrogation sign. They replace the full stop at the end of a sentence when the sentence is a query or interrogation. Example: is the skyscraper located in the central area of the city? He will understand the gravity of the situation, wouldn't he? The second statement ends with a fragment of interrogation or tag question, wouldn't he? Please remember that indirect questions do not end with an interrogation sign. For example, Pranay asked Satish if he will go rock climbing next summer. They are used at the end of a sentence to convey stronger than usual emotions of anger, regret, surprise, joy, and so on. Next, we have the exclamation mark. They come at the end of exclamatory or interjection words. Example: phew, that was a close escape. Blimey, is that a bird? Ew, these socks stink. Note that there is an exclamation mark after the interjection word ew and at the end of the sentence. Comma, the most widely used punctuation that denotes a pause in a sentence and separates parts or elements in it is called a comma. We already know that commas are profusely used in separating different items, addressing a person by their name, to mark off adverbs, adverbial phrases, for omitting a word, especially the verb, after a subordinating conjunction. However, there can be quite a few other uses. For example, after an introductory phrase, following the footprints of the stag, we reached the riverbed. It is also used before a tag question. Rita looks paler than usual, doesn't she? Apostrophe. It indicates the possessive form of a noun. In other words, it conveys that an object belongs to someone or a person is related to another person. It also shortens common phrases like do not, would not, and what is into don't, wouldn't, and what's respectively. For example, the course has been designed keeping the students' interests in mind. John Keats' poem, The Grecian Urn, talks of the timelessness of art. She won't go, I bet. What's in a name? Single quotation marks, also called the single inverted comma. This is used in titles or for general naming or emphasis of things. For instance, we call our meeting place the Hangout. The title of William Wordsworth's poem is The Daffodils. What does the term reticulated mean? Double quotation marks. Also known as the double inverted commas, they are especially used to mark direct speech or to quote words, phrases, or sentences from a published text. Example: how silly of me, said Nina. How could you say that to his face? He asked. Remember that the double quotations always close after the terminating punctuations. For instance, stop, he said, come back. If you use double quotation marks, then you should use single quotation marks for a quote within a quote. If you use single quotations marks, then you should use double quotation marks for a quote within a quote. For example, when I say immediately, I mean sometime before October, said the director. Semicolon. It indicates a pause of greater significance compared to a comma and is generally used to separate two clauses in a sentence of equal rank. The second clause separated by the semicolon from the first one carries forward the same strain of thought as in the case of this sentence. Meera is a fast cyclist. She covered the distance from her house to the amphitheater in 10 minutes. Colon. Colons are used to introduce a saying, to elaborate on a point before listing a number of points, and to connect two independent clauses similar in thought. For example, our choices were limited to 3 genres: thriller, sci-fi, and horror. M dash. M dashes are used to separate a short segment of a sentence for greater emphasis and are used in less formal context compared to the parentheses. For example, much time has elapsed, almost 6 months, since we last heard from Aisha. N dash. The N dash is slightly shorter than the M dash but bigger than a hyphen and is used between a word and a number or between two numbers, for instance, to present a span of time or a range of page numbers. For example, in the year 1992 to 1993, he was living in Nigeria. P65 was a secret government document. Hyphen. It is used to form compound words, to divide certain words, and in prefixes and suffixes. For example, let's have a look at the following words, which are all hyphenated. All, too common. Age, old. Non-violent. Parentheses, words plus sign. Parentheses provides extra information which is of lesser importance and those included within M dashes. They are more formal in nature and can be used for a variety of purposes. For example, in lengthening a sentence and packing information, I had gone to check on my neighbors. It had all been a bit too quiet for a while. In citing portions of a text for journal articles, she opens an old story for us, like an egg, and finds the new story, the now story we want to hear, within. Rusty. We also need parentheses while making lists. We need to buy 1. Backpacks, 2. Raincoats, 3. Gumboots, and 4. Torches before the expedition. Brackets or parentheses are also used in adding information which may be omitted. Leonardo da Vinci, 5th April 1452 to 2nd May 1519. More commonly, Leonardo da Vinci, or simply Leonardo, was an Italian polymath of the Renaissance. We shall now take off, leaving you with a little poem. This is Christian Morgenstern's take on punctuations, originally written in German. Let's see if you can spot all the punctuation marks that he enumerates. The peaceful land of punctuation is filled with tension overnight, when the stops and commas of the nation, called the semicolons, parasites. Within the hour they form their troops, an anti-semicolon group. The question marks avoid the scrape, as always, and quietly escape. The semicolon's mournful racket is drowned out by surrounding brackets. And then the captured creature freezes, imprisoned by parentheses. The dreaded minus sign arrives and slash ends the captives' lives. The question marks, now homeward bound, pity the corpses on the ground. But woe! A new war looms large, as dashes against commas charge, and cut across the commas' necks, so that the beheaded wrecks. The dashes delight in gore, as semicolons hit the floor. Both semicolon types they bury in silence in the cemetery. Those dashes that still remain creep blackly behind the morning train. The exclamation holds a sermon with colons help right on the spot. Then through their comma-form free nation, they all march home, dash, dot, dash, dot. With that, we come to the end of today's video lesson on punctuation. We hope this helps you in your examination preparations.